How's it going, troops? Jordan here, back again with another Black Ops Cold War loadout video. Today's loadout is the one you've all been waiting for, as we head back in time to 1984 to terminate Sarah Connor. So today's loadout is titled Terminator. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and let's jump right in. With this Terminator loadout, we're going to be playing as Arnie's T-800 from the film The Terminator, with some references to its brilliant sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Our playstyle for this setup is going to be roleplay, and since we're not going to be taking our in-game performance into consideration, I've labelled today's loadout difficulty as hard. Starting off with our primary weapon, we're going to go with the Gallo SA-12, which is called the Spaz-12 in real life. The Spaz-12 was first featured in the gun shop scene, where Arnie arms himself with as much weaponry as possible to terminate Sarah Connor with and kill anyone else that stands in his way, including the gun shop owner. So we'll arm ourselves up with the Spaz-12, aka the Gallo SA-12. However though, shotguns in Cold War are classed as secondary weapons, which means we're going to have to equip the Lawbreaker wildcard in order to use the Gallo for our primary. Just like Arnie, we can't go in bare bones, so let's talk attachments. Our first attachment is going to be the Stanag 12 round tube. This extended tube not only grants us extra shells to fire before reloading, but the extended tube is what we see on Arnie's Spaz-12, and so that's why we're going to go with that. And for our second and final attachment, we're choosing to have no stock. In the gun shop scene, the Spaz-12 has its stock unfolded, just like Cold War's does to stock. But later on in the movie, there's a shootout scene at the police station where Sarah Connor is being kept safe, and it's during this shootout that we see the Terminator handling the Spaz-12 with no stock, allowing him to fire the shotgun one-handed. So to replicate this in-game, we'll simply go with no stock as well. So now that we've discussed our primary weapon configuration, it's time to move on to our secondary weapon of choice for this loadout. For our secondary weapon, we're going to choose the M79 grenade launcher. The M79 was used by Arnie in Terminator 2, where him, John Connor, Miles Dyson and Sarah Connor are inside the Cyberdyne building, trying to destroy the remaining processor chip that caused the AI to become self-aware and wipe out 3 billion people on Judgment Day. During part of this section, the passcode to access the room the chip is in is denied, leaving the Terminator to pull out his M79 and blow the door off its hinges. The M79 is also used a short while later, where the Terminator blows up a few police cars outside Cyberdyne. Luckily for us, we have the M79 grenade launcher in Cold War multiplayer, and so we'll equip this in our secondary slot. We can't equip any attachments onto this grenade launcher, so let's move straight on to our perk setup. We're going to further take advantage of the Lawbreaker wildcard by using multiple perks from Tier 1, and starting with our first Tier 1 perk, we're going to choose Flak Jacket. The Terminator is resistant to certain temperatures, which is why in Terminator 1, the T-800 survives that big petrol tanker explosion near the end of that movie. Flak Jacket in-game makes us more resistant to grenades, explosives and fire, and so we'll go with that for our first perk. For our second Tier 1 perk, we're going to choose Tactical Mask. Similarly to Flak Jacket, Tactical Mask reduces the effects of stuns, flashbangs and gas grenades, something that doesn't have an effect on the Terminator, when we see him walking down that gas-filled corridor in the second film. And for our final perk, we're going to choose Assassin from Tier 2. The Terminator was an assassin in the first film, with his mission goal being to terminate Sarah Connor and prevent her unborn son John from defeating Skynet, and so that's why Assassin will be our third perk. Moving on now to our equipment and field upgrade. For our lethal equipment, we're going to go with the Molotov. We're going to use the Molotov as reference to Terminator 2, when Arnold is sent back in time by John Connor to prevent the T-1000 from killing his younger self. He then walks into that bar, ordering one of the bikers to give him his clothes, boots and motorcycle, to which the biker refuses and a bar fight ensues, so we'll go with the Molotov to reference that. As for our tactical equipment, we're going to go with the Stim Shot. In both films we see the Terminator cut open his skin or tear off his flesh as he self-repairs himself before heading back out into the world. In Cold War, we can replicate this with the Stim Shot that allows you to self-regenerate your health anytime you're injured. And since the stim replenishes every 11 seconds, it makes this tactical even better for us to use. And lastly, for our field upgrade, we're choosing the SAM turret. In the 2029 scenes from the first Terminator film, we can see these big robot-like machines firing lasers at Kyle Reese and the other human survivors. And since the SAM turret looks similar to that, by firing laser-guided missiles at enemy airstreaks, we'll select this for our field upgrade. So now that we've talked about our equipment and field upgrade, it's time to finish off this loadout with our score streak selection. For our first score streak, we're going to choose the hand cannon. The hand cannon is currently not available in Cold War, but it was leaked just before the game came out, so it's inevitable that it will be added to multiplayer at some point. The Terminator wielded a 45 long slide with laser sighting in the first film, and the hand cannon in Cold War is based off this reference, and so that's why we'll choose it as our first score streak. For our second score streak, we're going to choose the Death Machine. In Terminator 2, there's a scene where the Terminator carries a minigun and begins firing out of the Cyberdyne window at police cars to deter the police officers and SWAT teams from advancing towards the building, so we'll equip this in-game in the form of the Death Machine. And for our third and final score streak, we're going to go with the War Machine. In Terminator 2, Arnie picks up an MM1 grenade launcher off a table and begins firing gas grenades at the SWAT guys inside the Cyberdyne building. In Cold War, we have the War Machine, which acts similarly to the MM1 in the film, with the only difference being that the War Machine fires impact grenades as opposed to gas ones, so we'll equip the War Machine for our final score streak. So troops, that wraps up my Terminator loadout video for Black Ops Cold War. Next time you boot up Black Ops Cold War multiplayer, definitely give this class setup a try in game and terminate the enemy. If you did enjoy this loadout video, then give the video a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it a lot, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then why haven't you? Hit subscribe right now and also click the bell notification icon next to it, so that way you're always notified as to when I make an upload. If you have any friends who might be interested in this sort of content, then share the video around with them to help give my loadout videos and my channel more widespread exposure. And if you want to see behind the scenes previews of my loadout videos, you can follow me on Twitter at JordanXBrooks for all the latest on them. So until the next video, I thank you all for watching, stay true to me troops, and I'll see you in game.
Hasta la vista, baby.